the Gucci bag and the $2 card. I sat cross-legged on the faded beige carpet of my parents' living room, the kind that had seen too many holidays, too many arguments, and not enough love. The Christmas tree twinkled in the corner fake, as always its cheap ornaments from Dollar General desperately trying to sparkle like something grander. My fingers, numb from the walk up the icy steps, gripped the small envelope I had just unwrapped. A snowflake sticker sealed it shut. No weight, no thickness, just paper, just like every other year. Across the room, my younger sister Leela squealed with delight. "Oh my God, Mom, Dad, you didn't." She held up a cream-coloured Gucci Marmont shoulder bag like it was the Holy Grail. Price tag, $4,300. "It's exactly what I wanted," she squealed again, bouncing on her knees. "This is gonna blow up on Instagram." My mother beamed. "Only the best for our baby girl." My father nodded. "You deserve it, princess." And me. I carefully peeled the snowflake sticker off the envelope. Inside was a $2 card from a gas station rack. No gift card, no cash, not even a signature, just a printed message. "Season's greetings." That was it. No one even looked my way. No one noticed the way my throat tightened, the way my hand shook, or the way my heart sank like it did every single year. They never did. I'm 31, a teacher. I rent a modest one-bedroom apartment in town, work overtime during the holidays, and still find a way to buy thoughtful gifts for everyone. For Mum, a $200 silk scarf from a local boutique she always window shopped, but never entered. For Dad, a $150 engraved Parker pen. For Leela, a signed coffee table book by her favorite fashion designer. Took me weeks to track it down. They didn't even bother to ask if I wanted coffee. I felt my breath catch in my chest as Leela pranced around the living room, posing with her new Gucci bag. My mother followed her with her iPhone, taking pictures for memories that never included me. Dad looked at his watch. "We need to leave for dinner by 7 if we want to beat traffic." "I think I need some air," I said, rising slowly, still holding the $2 card like a receipt for my insignificance. Aunt June, the only one who ever truly saw me, caught my eye. Her lips parted, horrified, before she composed herself and whispered, "You're not wrong." Outside, the December air bit at my cheeks. I walked down the driveway alone, hands buried deep in my coat pockets. 29 years, 29 Christmases, always the afterthought, always the one who received the leftover affection if any. I tried to be grateful, but it was like asking a plant to grow in a closet. Why was Leela the princess and I the employee? I sat in my car, parked along the icy curb, staring at the cheap card on the passenger seat. And then I did something I hadn't done since I was 17. I cried. Not quiet tears. Full sobs. Because for once, I didn't want to pretend I was fine. That night, I didn't go to the family dinner. I drove home in silence, turned off my phone, and sat in the dark. No music, no Netflix, just me and the quiet agony of realizing the people I loved most didn't really love me back. And that was the moment. The exact moment I decided. I was done, the year I disappeared. After Christmas, I didn't answer their calls. I didn't send my usual follow-up, thank you texts. I didn't drive over to drop off leftovers like I usually did, pretending I wanted them when really, I just wanted to be seen. Instead, I cleaned my apartment in silence. I took down my tiny tree, boxed up the ribbon I reused every year, and lit a candle that smelled like pine forests I'd never been to. It flickered against the walls like a gentle whisper. "You are allowed to leave." Aunt June called. Not Mom, not Dad, not Leela. Just June. "Sweetheart," she said, her voice soft like old lullabies, "you didn't deserve that." I couldn't answer. I just cried quietly. "I saw your face, Elise," she said. "They didn't. But I did. And you don't need to explain anything to anyone." I cried harder. January came. While Leela posted pictures from her New Year's Eve yacht party #Gucci glow up #princess energy, I got a second job tutoring at a private school. Not because I needed the money, but because I needed distance. Every paycheck, I saved a little more. Every spare hour I journaled. My therapist, Dr. Rena, who I'd finally started seeing thanks to our district's new benefits plan, asked me one question that stuck in my mind like a shard of glass. Who would you be if you stopped begging them to love you? I didn't know the answer, but I was ready to find out. In February, I blocked them from my phone for 30 days. Not forever, just a boundary, like putting up a gate after years of people trampling your garden. It was silent. Then slowly, it became peaceful. I started cooking again, not sad salads and microwaved guilt. Real food, pasta with fresh basil, lemon chicken, homemade garlic bread. I lit candles while I ate. I stopped performing gratitude for people who didn't give me anything to be grateful for. By March, something changed in me. The way I walked into school felt different. My shoulders weren't hunched anymore. I didn't flinch every time my phone buzzed. I spoke up in meetings. I proposed a new reading initiative and my principal loved it. "You're always so composed," he told me. He had no idea I used to cry in the faculty bathroom after every holiday. Leela messaged me in April. "Hey sis Cran, I missed you this Easter hatching yellow. Mom said you were being independent again lol. Hope are good, though." I stared at the text. I didn't reply. Instead, I posted a photo, just one, no makeup, no filter, sitting on my couch with a mug of tea and the caption, "When you stop asking for a seat at someone else's table, you realize you can build your own." Aunt June commented, "Proud of you too." My co-worker Jasmine sent me a private message. "Girl, that caption, you okay? That hit." And just like that, a tiny ripple started. In May, I applied for a leadership grant. Not because I thought I'd win. Just because I finally believed I deserved to try. 2 weeks later, I got the email. Approved. $15,000 to develop a community literacy program. The grant officer wrote, "Your application stood out not just because of your vision, but because of your voice." I cried again. But not the old way. This was joy, the rise they never saw coming. June came, and with it, the heat. And for once, the warmth came from the sun, not from trying to earn my family's approval. I launched the literacy program at a community centre downtown. Nothing fancy, no balloons, no press, no fake smiles, just kids who needed someone to believe in them, and a teacher who finally knew how to believe in herself. A little girl named Carmen hugged me after our second session. "You're the first grown-up who thinks I'm smart," she whispered. I almost lost it right there in the folding chair. Because for most of my life, I'd never heard that either. One evening, I walked past my hallway mirror and did a double take. Who was this woman? I looked different. Not prettier, not thinner, just lighter. Like I'd shed something invisible but heavy. My parents still hadn't called. And that was a gift I didn't know I needed. Because without the static of their disapproval, I could finally hear my own voice. Then came July, and something happened. My photo, the one with the mug, and the caption about building your own table went viral on a teacher support forum. Someone had reposted it, saying, "Whoever you are, thank you. I left a toxic family in January. This made me feel brave." There were hundreds of comments. Hundreds. All from people who thought they were the only ones. I read them in my tiny kitchen at midnight, a bowl of pasta in one hand and a newfound sense of purpose in the other. A publisher reached out. They wanted to know if I'd be willing to write a short memoir for a teaching series on resilience. "Your voice feels so raw and real," the editor said. "We don't want perfect. We want true." I said yes. For the first time, my story was more than pain, it was power. August. Mom broke the silence. "Elise," her voicemail began, her voice already trembling. "Your father's in the hospital. Chest pains, stress, mostly. I know you're upset, but family is family." I stood in the hallway of my apartment for 10 minutes, listening to the wind outside my window. Family is family. The old line, that ancient leash. I didn't call back. Not immediately. Instead, I drove to the hospital the next morning with a clear mind and an even clearer Andrew. He was fine, just tired. Too much red meat, too little accountability. Leela was there, of course. In designer sunglasses and Chanel flats, holding Dad's hand like the prodigal daughter who never left, but I could see at the cracks. The fear behind her mascara. The slight panic in her eyes. She was still their favourite. But she was also losing control. Mum hugged me like I was a long-lost cousin. "Thank you for coming, sweetheart." I let her hug me. But I didn't hug back. Not because I hated her. Because I had finally forgiven her. And forgiveness without permission? That's freedom. In September, I bought a condo. Mine. 1 bedroom, exposed brick, hardwood floors that creaked when I danced alone in the kitchen. I framed the $2 Christmas card and hung it by the front door. Not out of spite. Out of truth. Because that card. It was the moment I finally woke up, a new kind of holiday. By December, it had been 1 full year since the card. A year since I sat in their living room, watching Leela unwrap a $4,300 Gucci bag while I held $2 worth of silence in my lap. But this time, I didn't spend Christmas with them. I spent it on my terms. Robert and I drove up to Cannon Beach. Snow didn't quite reach the coast, but the wind carried that soft hush that makes everything feel sacred. I wore a navy wool coat I'd thrifted and tailored myself. He handed me a gift wrapped in brown paper, tied with a simple string. Inside, a first edition copy of The Year of Magical Thinking, signed. My favorite book. The one I used to underline late at night when the world felt too heavy. "You remember everything," I whispered. "Only the parts that matter," he said. Back in Portland, my old life stirred like a ghost. A group text Christmas Eve at the house. "Come if you can." No names, no apologies. Just assumptions. Juliet followed up privately. "They're pretending last year didn't happen. I'm not okay with it." She wasn't living in the luxury apartment anymore. She'd moved in with 2 roommates, gotten a part-time job, started therapy. The glitter had faded. But something better had taken its place, humility. And honesty. "I don't think I can sit through another dinner pretending none of it happened," she texted again. "Maybe next year we go somewhere, just us?" I stared at the screen for a moment. Then wrote back. "Somewhere warm and quiet, I'd like that." By New Year's Eve, the snow had come. I lit a candle in my apartment and turned off every light except the one hanging over my journal. I opened to the last page of the year and wrote. They gave me a $2 card. I gave myself a whole new life. I no longer fantasize about confronting them at Christmas. Or proving I'm worthy. Or hearing we were wrong about you. Because now I know. The validation you wait for from others is a prison. But the respect you give yourself is the key. Leela reached out again in March. Not to borrow money. Not to beg. To say, thank you. Your story made me see myself clearly for the first time. I'm sorry it took me so long. I didn't rush to respond. Some things take time. Healing. Rebuilding. Trust. I waited a few days, then replied simply. I'm glad you're finding your voice. I hope you use it. It's funny. They never understood what I wanted. Not gifts, not money. Not praise. Just to be seen. And now I see me. I sit on my balcony with my journal and a cup of peppermint tea. Below, Portland breathes softly in the dark. Inside, the framed card still hangs on the wall. But now it doesn't hurt. It reminds me. When they gave me $2, they accidentally gave me something priceless. A reason to rise. And a reason to never go back. The end.